People may admire your success, but they connect with your struggle.
Educate, empower, enable, impact. Thank you for tuning in to That Will Never Work, an award-winning podcast where we share inspiring information and personal experiences related to business and the entrepreneurial journey from those who are leaders in their respective field. Now, here's your host, author and business coach, Maurice.
Hey, everybody. So we're going to rock it out like this today. We're talking about you as an individual telling your story and why telling your story is important. And so here's what I would like for you to do. I would like for you to tell stories about real moments, struggles, wins, doubts, breakthroughs. And that's because people connect with authenticity and not perfection. Now, sometimes the perfection side is a side that might, or the appearance of perfection, might be the side that gets our attention. So an example would be we're scrolling through social media, and for the ladies out there, maybe it's the perfect person, young lady or example of beauty, being the makeup is done correctly. Maybe her eyelashes or her hair, her fingernails, her toenails, whatever it might be. Again, it's the idea of perfection, that everything is flowing right and everything, along those lines. Maybe it's a situation where someone has taken a perfect picture of their food on a table, right? Maybe it's a situation where for us guys, I know for me, it's hats. The way this particular hat looks on this one guy's space, that where it sits right and everything looks correct or whatever. It goes with their suit, their suit jacket, their shirt or whatever it is. But here's the question that goes along with that idea of perfection. What had to take place in order for that individual to get there? Because they didn't get there overnight. The idea is they didn't wake up like that, right? They had to do something to get to that place. So, we unfortunately want to show the end result and not the work that led up to it. And so if you had to sit down and really tell your story about your real journey, if you had to tell the story of all the ups and downs and ins and outs and all the times that you might have cried or yelled or screamed and felt ashamed or embarrassed or whatever it is. And I understand, I totally understand that there are some people that just do not want to tell that side of their life for whatever reason. But here's the reality. That's the part that people are going to connect to. That's the part that people are going to say, you know what? I've been through that fire. I've been through that rain. I've been through, that earthquake. I've been through that tornado or that hurricane or whatever it is. So I'll give you an example, right? So there was, in all reality, this is, again, a true story. My grandmother, who will put on or appear to be the strongest woman ever. And I'm not saying that she wasn't. But here is a factor, and I believe I spoke about it on some episodes here and there. See, in 1944, where she was growing up in South Carolina, 1944, April to be exact, there was a tornado that had come through the place where she lived. It ripped the house apart. It killed her parents. It disshuffled all of their belongings in that home. Ultimately, it hurt my aunt, her sister, very badly. She still has a severe scar on her leg. And, how do you pick up the pieces from dealing with a devastation like that? So what happens is that now you have to put this story together, and you may not understand the exact story. You may not have gone through the exact situation, because that particular tornado, it started off below, I want to say Florida. It might have been Georgia, but I believe it was Florida. And it had going through Georgia, and it split, and one hit more in Georgia, the other one hit parts of South Carolina. And it was I believe it was April 16, 1944, 15, 16. And so those type of things, you can actually read it online that it was one of the hardest hit places in reference to a tornado in a very long time. But what I'm getting at is that there were times where in our lives that we have moments that feels that catastrophic. And if we don't share it, we have a challenge at times where people don't know how to connect with us. They don't know how to jump rope with us. They don't know how to play games with us. They don't know how to laugh and have a good time. They don't know how to calm down a little bit because they're on edge for whatever the reason is. And especially if they don't share the story and get some of that off of them, and understanding that there are some times in life and history where therapy was not readily available. Let's be honest. And so it may not have been something that was very prevalent in that time for my grandmother and her siblings. She was there with her brother and her sister. She had an older brother who was fighting in World War I and had to come home and deal with that type of situation. And so what happens is you have to share these type of stories that when people understand who you are and understand why you are that strong, why are you the strong individual, why your character is like this, how what your values really are when it comes to family or anything along those lines. Unfortunately, sometimes it makes you look like you're a super person, and people have this perception about you. But if you don't share it, what is it? So here's the reason why it matters to share. Here's why it matters. See, the more human your story, the more relatable your brand becomes. And so if we can take our life story and integrate it into our talks, into our speeches, and people can understand our struggles, our wins, our doubts, our breakthroughs, that in this particular moment, here is a situation that now someone else can attest to say, you know what? I might not have been in a tornado, but I was in a hurricane. Oh, wow, I wasn't in a hurricane, but I was in a flood. Now, I gave you these natural disasters, right? But sometimes when things are not in a physical sense, but maybe if it's in an emotional situation, maybe it is a mental situation, or even a spiritual situation, those we have no idea what those moments can be in your life, and you can respond and react to it in that manner, and it can be that catastrophic. But when you speak about your brand, it helps to show who you really are and how human you are, and how you can understand someone else's challenges in life. So I'll leave you with this. And I just said it. The more human your story, the more relatable your brand becomes. Thank you very much for listening today.
Thanks for listening. Follow Maurice Chisholm on social media to stay connected and check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, that will never work. Or will it?